Welcome back. Let's take a look at one new denarius we got from an auction house that is called Nomisma, and it was sent to us from the Republic of San Marino. That's right inside Italy. That's where a lot of the best ones come from. And I don't think they are subject to the Memorandum of Understanding that binds most countries in the EU as well as the United States. And that always ties up the customs process to get them out to you. But these, this one just took about a month to get to me here in the US. And the reason I've got it out with these other ones is because it is designated generally as the same variety, 207 BC, the crescent. And these are over 4 grams. This one here, especially, this one that is graded AU, especially the obverse, they look a lot the same. And you'll wonder, did you maybe get 2 from the same die? I'm not quite sure about that. I would say the X on the ungraded one is a little bit taller than the X on the graded one. Other than that, I cannot really see any distinction between these two pieces. And that's always interesting to me, to reunite 2 coins struck from the same die about 2,200 years ago. That said, I am still not sure these are from the same die. Definitely the same series, and you figure, geez, someone was really looking at the same pattern. I don't know how they do this. And as for the front side, the obverse, I would say the ungraded coin looks to be even a little better than the one that's in the case here. So I will send it out. My prediction is it will probably also just be AU, not choice AU. You can see here the choice AU, very similar, but I would say it's easier to see a difference. And the luster and the surface perhaps explains why this was graded choice AU, not just AU. Looking at the reverse, I was able to identify the difference. But with these ancient coins, it was not too uncommon to have the same obverse die, but then a different die used, different dies for the obverse and reverse. So here, they look a lot the same. Obviously, they're struck. The ungraded one is more off-center, and you lose the Roma. Didn't quite make it in. See if you can spot the difference. The most easy one that I was able to see is the capes are different, and on the ungraded coin, you got 2 wrinkles as the cape is flowing, and on the graded one, there's just sort of one wave. So these were definitely not struck from the same die on the reverse. Although again, you think these were at the same shop or on the same bench or same guy? They're pretty close. You can look at the reverse of the choice AU example. Again, kind of a better sheen or luster. You get the whole Roma in there. It's off-center in both of these. And I'm going to say I'm starting to notice that with certain issues, is that some of them are always on a kind of small flan. Flan is, the chunk of silver that gets whacked to make the coin. And you figure when they put it in there before they hammer it, it's kind of more like a ball. It's not really flat. It becomes flat because it gets hammered and struck. And so not these in particular, but there's one from like 103 or something BC, sippy something. They're always small. They're always kind of thick and small diameter. And I've seen a bunch of them. I've got 2. On the other hand, Seems like these two over here, they're always kind of struck a little off center or on a piece that's missing. This is the same series. Again, you know, when it comes out from NGC, or if you looked at Sear, I believe, or Crawford, they probably have the same designation. That doesn't mean that within that designation there aren't differences. And this one you got 2, and this one you got 2 wrinkles in the cave. We could compare these, and I would say on the ungraded one, another difference that's pretty easy to see is that the crescent is more full. In fact, on both of these, the crescent is more full. On this one, and you can tell it's not just because it's going off the coin, because you can see the line, which is the edge of the design, and so that crescent is, you know, vertically squished like that more compared to these other ones. You can see the tail here is different on the horse, more like a wheel. And this one is just one big thing like that. So again, listen, I understand it. There's probably like 8 people in the world who have been interested in these distinctions, but there is a website that some other guy made where he really tries to break down how you tell these apart and the intergroup differences. And so unlike US pennies or a lot of other kinds of modern coins, even within the same issue, same year, maybe the same mint, you get some subtle distinctions because it's still not the same die. These dies wear out, they break, and they had to remake as close as they could, same design, again. And the whole time is interesting because it's the Second Punic War, 207, that's in the war. Wherever these were made, they're probably used for paying armies, because I believe that usually that's why they were making silver coinage. And gold, if absolutely necessary in an emergency, was to pay mercenaries, to pay soldiers, to pay for equipment, to pay for fleets. And what the normal people used every day was base token coinage, you know, bronze, copper, that kind of the junk. And so it's something to keep in mind through history. The people with the sharp stuff or the guns or whatever, they get the real money. We don't. Have a great evening.